Have you guys ever noticed how the people that are doing the most, the people that are bringing about true change in the world, that are innovating new systems and restructuring how we do things, the revolutionary minds, let's say, these are often the ones that think that they deserve the least out of everybody. It kind of reminds me of how the loudest people are usually the only ones that get heard, but they're often the most not prudent and not necessarily knowledgeable or wise either. But the wise are very soft-spoken, or they are understanding that silence is a formidable way of moving in the world, even though it's not going to necessarily be the case that that's going to always be the proper way to move in the world, but they are generally more silent and know how to hold their tongue. They're prudent with their mouth. Those kinds of people are the ones that think that they deserve the least, but then you have those loud mouths that think that they're so entitled that they deserve everything, and they're not the ones doing anything for the world. These are the kinds of people that do not know how to live the art of fearlessness. And the people that are wise, that are prudent with their mouth, that have an understanding of moving through the world in a way that is significant to their own proclivity toward living a life that is prosperous and that is joyful and peaceful and all of these other great qualities of virtue, temperance or knowledge or humility, they're the ones that are doing the most oftentimes, but they're not feeling as though they deserve it, but they know how to live the art of fearlessness. You see, there's so many different kinds of people in the world that want to be deemed to be a holy person. Meanwhile, they are behind closed doors, not whole in the least. They are the perverts in private and Puritans in public kind of people. And you might see that this shirt says, "Not a holy person, a whole person." That's what we're going for here. That's always been my modality and my viewpoint of the world is I'm not striving to be a holy person. I know that I cannot be a holy person because the holy person that is the holiest of holies has already existed and is existing through us because we're the body of Christ, and that is Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the holiest of the holies, and all that I can do is strive to be a whole person. And that takes an individuation process, and it takes understanding the bridge between psychology and spirituality, which is, again, what I'm all about. My point of view is to revolutionize psychology and spirituality to fuse a mechanism of living the art of what is true and fearless. If we can live with the art of fearlessness, and we can live with the art of truth manifested into our being, there's going to be so many different ways that are brought out in the world that will be conducive toward a more positive state of being. Unfortunately, there are so many people that also don't even care to acknowledge this kind of thing. People don't even care to understand this kind of a thing. They don't want to see people actually being joyful because they don't know how to heal inside themselves. And Carl Jung actually once said that we never really heal anything. We just figure out how to let it go. And I think that's very wise because that is exactly what I do with people in my one-on-one consultation calls and mentorship calls, is where it's not therapy per se, but it's more of a dialogue in which I'm telling the truth, you're telling the truth, and we're not going to try to counteract what the truth of the matter is or what the truth of the situation is so that we can find the path forward. Because whether you like it or not, the way to move forward in this life is to, and to move with authority, is to, number one, understand your flaws, your shadow, the dark parts of you, and how to manifest that into something greater, how to manifest this into something more beautiful. Because when you're able to suffer, God has this amazing ability to transform that sorrow and that pain into something beatific, and that will inspire the beatitudes of life to radiate through your being in a way that you might not even understand yourself. And this is why it's so important for anybody to really acknowledge the art of living fearlessly and to live a life of fearlessness. You see, fear is a weird thing, because when you understand the nature of fear, it doesn't make you less afraid. It makes you more courageous, and it makes you want to be able to confront the problems of life with a more holistic approach. Because when you approach life from a more holistic perspective, you want to be not necessarily holy, but whole. That's where the shift of your dynamic and your mind changes for the better. You see, your mindset might be limiting you to how much money you're making, your nervous system not being healed. Now remember, healed is letting go, but your nervous system not being healed, that might be playing a factor in how much richness you have in your life, whether it's materialistically or spiritually. These certain things are going to have to be looked at and examined and incorporated into your being down the line. I've talked to a few different kinds of entrepreneurs within the past few months in my mentorship programs, and they have this weird block. There's this weird point where they're stagnant. They know what they need to do, but they're still stagnant, and they're not seeing the kinds of progress that they want to be seeing. And I completely understand that, because I've been there myself as an entrepreneur. And it's in those times where you realize that entrepreneurship, for example, it's not about your ability to, well, it is about your ability to market, but it's also about not just having a great product, but your endurance to survive and to thrive in those times where things are not looking good. And it comes down to your mindset. What's so baffling to me is a lot of these men also, and women that I've talked to, but I've talked to more men that are entrepreneurs than women. I've only talked to a couple women that are entrepreneurial, but they're not quite yet considering themselves entrepreneurs. And I've talked to a lot of people with 9-to-5 jobs and graveyard shifts, all that kind of stuff as well. But right now I want to focus on this particular modality of consciousness when it comes to entrepreneurship, because when you are analyzing what you're doing, you might not be able to fully articulate what's going on inside of you. And when you're at that point where you don't know how to articulate yourself, you don't know how to actually look inside and see what exactly is happening, there's this strange thing that occurs in your being that says, okay, I want this, but for some reason I also want to sabotage my ability to get that. And you don't have to be an entrepreneur to resonate with this. I'm just saying that this is an example that I've seen in entrepreneurs. And so they'll accidentally or purposefully sabotage what they want, because in their minds, they might be making 5, 10, 15K a month. But what they're actually doing when it comes to action, they're not doing that at all. They're only making 2K a month or whatever it is. And they want to be making more. But even though they are smart enough and they have the knowledge and the capacity to do more, they're not doing that. Well, so why is that? What exactly is happening there? What exactly is happening? Well, what's happening is, number one, it could be your niche, right? It could be your niche, but it also could be that you are marketing yourself, but maybe not in the way that resonates with your audience. You're also living a life that is not actually what you're preaching about. This is something else I've noticed with people, is people that are actually striving to live on the righteous path, but they're struggling with it. And there's usually some tension between the material world and their spirit. But people that claim to want to be on the righteous path, but they're not on the righteous path, they're usually the ones that do well materialistically. Well, why is that? Well, because everything they do is fake anyway. Like, everything they do is fake. So, of course, they're going to get all the material stuff, because that stuff at the end of the day is fake as well. There's no problem with you living in luxury or living a luxurious life. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the problem happens when you're striving to put luxuriousness as your God. A lot of people might say that the artwork that I have, or the flag here, or my books and whatever, are forms of idolatry in these videos and such. And I can understand where they're coming from at that, but where does it say in the Bible that I am to not honor and respect or have a reverence for beauty or my country or for loyalty or commitment? Where like art, where is the Bible verse that says that exactly? Because I don't put any of this above God. I don't put anything above God. I put it on the walls, sure, but it's not a graven image. It's not a graven image like the Bible talks about. These are not images that I idolize. I don't idolize these things, but I have them up as a reminder of where I've come from, who I am, and just a genuine appreciation for the beauty in life. Because one thing that I've also noticed with this modality of consciousness that people have when they accidentally or consciously sabotage what they know they deserve, but they can't allow themselves to have it, is their relationship with the opposite gender is also usually misconstrued in some way, shape, or form. And this is why you also must have an understanding of living the art of what is true and what is fearless when it comes to intersexual dynamics. Because it's better for you to have your heart open and to be hurt than it is to have your heart made of granite and your neck stiff. So many stiff-necked people out there, it's crazy. And so many people on the other end of the spectrum where they're just way too open with their body. They're closed off in their heart, but with their body, they just want to feel something. They just want to feel like they're wanted for the moment, and then they don't care. It's all about attention for them. And these kinds of people, whether you're male or female, is not a good person to be around, because they're going to be the first ones to try to take anything that you build or destroy anything that you build. And if you're used to in life not really getting what you want, and you really have to struggle and challenge yourself to get what you want, when you get to a point to where things become almost too simple with your business, for example, in entrepreneurship, where things are just kind of working out now, things are working out. People will oftentimes, depending on what kind of modality of consciousness you're in, people will oftentimes step back and stop putting their foot on the gas pedal. They'll kind of, okay, now I can come back a little bit. Now I can ease back. No. That's where you need to apply more pressure. More pressure combined with stress, combined with adrenaline, gets me places. And I'm not just saying that, I'm saying that because I've lived it and I've seen it. It's only through living the art of fearlessness and truth that I'm able to withstand the stress and the pain and have the endurance to, with the adrenaline, to apply that pressure back to whatever it is that I'm being challenged with. And it's this ability to apply the pressure that's going to really set you apart in your dynamic of life. Many people that I've seen, they will ultimately see what they want, but they don't know how to go after it. And then if they do get what they want something else. They're not learning how to be content with that. And there is a difference between getting what you want and easing off the gas pedal once you start your winning season. Okay, because what you're doing in your winning season is going to determine how you do your sowing season, and vice versa. Your reaping and sowing season, right? I call it the winning season, but it is what it is. The reaping and sowing season. I've been in a reaping season for a long time. Sowing season for a long time. Now I'm finally beginning to see a reaping season. And I've been sowing for months and months and months. It seems like God is putting this sowing season in really high functionality for my life. And now I'm finally at a point where I'm starting to see more reaping of what I've been sowing. And thank God for that. But that doesn't mean that I just get to ease off the gas pedal now. It's like, okay, now, yes, see what's happening, see what's working, eliminate what's not working. Okay, I was walking the other day, and I was on a walk, and I was thinking about my businesses and what I want to be doing with my businesses and how I want to live life and where do I really want to go at this point, really observing the landscape before me, right? And I saw to myself, okay, I'm going to just really meditate on this and let God reveal anything unto me. Well, soon after that, I saw that there was a branch on this tree that was barely hanging on. It was just, it was time to go for that branch so that something else can blossom, right? And I could feel through me God saying, pay attention to that. Look at that. Now that is what your business is supposed to be like sometimes. That's what life is supposed to be like sometimes. Sometimes you have these branches that are just hanging off, barely hanging on by a thread. But if you just were able to take off those dead branches, something new would blossom. And this is exactly the same kind of thing with like plants as well. Plants, sometimes the best way to help a plant grow is to remove the dead stuff. That's exactly what you want to be doing with your life. And that is the way of living the art of truth and the art of fearlessness. Is you're able to see fear for what it is, and you see it, but to embrace it. To embrace it is to accept that you can create courage through that current of consciousness. So I hope this video was useful and insightful for you. If you do want to join the Regal Change Academy, we no longer have the free Discord channel, okay? The free Discord channel is not available. We're going to be replacing that with the subscription to the Telegram channel. That is free still, okay? But it's just going to be a bigger, better thing for what we want to be doing with the Regal Change Academy community and just the Regal Change brand in general. We also have the Regal Change paid community for the Regal Change Academy. And we're doing the Legends of Stoicism class series right now. That is only going to be available for a limited time. We also have other classes that you can do on your own time. And then we have our bread and butter, which really sets us apart at the Regal Change Academy, is the 3 weekly group calls for the Regal Assembly call, the Maps of Consciousness and the Maps of the Psyche call. And then we have a Bible study. And those are going to be really the as I said, the bread and butter of the Academy. That's where we get the most engagement. That's going to be the most feedback that we have in general as well for everybody involved. And I do appreciate everybody moving from the YouTube platform over to X, Rumble, Instagram recently, specifically with X, because X, baby, is going to grow. That thing is going to grow, baby, grow. And I'm really looking forward to it. So definitely be following me on X, if not the Telegram, all those links in the description box below, all right? So peace be with you all. Until next time.